All right, number 7 on our mid-quiz. Malia is wrapping a gift in the box to the right. How much wrapping paper will she need, not including any overlap? So basically what we're solving for in this problem is surface area. In order to find surface area or to calculate surface area of this figure, I need to find the area of each of the sides and then add them all up. So I'm going to just start. I like to color code. You could also have drawn a net to see this a little bit more clearly. I'm going to start with this side of my figure. I've got a small rectangle that looks something like this. I know that the dimensions is 2 inches by 10. And it's a rectangle, so we'll have to think back and remember our area formula for a rectangle, which is just base times height or length times width, whichever you like to think of it as. So I know it's 2 times 10, and 2 times 10 is 20, and it's area, so I always want to square those inches. So that's my area for this side right here. Then I want to ask myself, do I have any sides that might match this? Well, this side right here looks like it would match it, but I definitely want to use my critical thinking skills to make sure it does. I know that the height would still be 2, so that's correct. And then I know that this length right here would match this one, so it would also be 2 by 10, so it would be 20. So I'm just going to say times 2 for this one, because it's going to count twice when I add it up at the end. All right, I'm going to switch colors and start counting up a different side. So now I'll do this front side. It looks super similar to the other one, but it's going to have a little bit of a different length. So I have a figure that looks like this. The height again is going to be 2. But instead of being 10, this length would match this length. So it would be 15. And again, it's a rectangle. So I want to use my area formula of a rectangle, which is base times height. The base would be 15 times the height is 2. Whichever order you have those in is totally fine. So we'd get 30 inches squared because it's area. Once I have 30 inches squared, I want to ask myself, is there any side that matches this one? And I see this back side right here. Looks like it matches. I definitely want to, again, use my critical thinking skills and see this would be 2 inches high and this would again be 15, so it does match. So when I'm adding it up at the end, I want to be sure I count it twice. So I'm going to do a nice times 2 right there so I can remember to multiply it by 2. Well, I've done the front and the back, and then I've done both sides. So now all I've got left are the top and bottom. So we'll go ahead and get the dimensions for that. I'll use a nice green. We have the top here. It looks a little something like this. The top would be a 10 inches by 15 inches. And again, it's a rectangle, so I'll do base times height or length times width, whichever you like to think of it as. 10 times 15. And I know that 10 times 15 is just a 150. And that gets me the area of the top, inches squared. Gets me the area of the top, but then I have to think, is there something that matches this top part? Well, yeah, there is. It's actually the bottom, which you can't really see because I've covered it up with a lot of color. But if you're thinking 3D, the bottom of this figure would also match the top. So I want to multiply this by 2 when I'm adding it all up. Well, I always like to count my sides and then count how many dimensions I have here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, top and bottom would be 5, 6. So I should have 6 dimensions over here that I've calculated. 1 times 2 is 2. and then 1 times 2 again is 2, so 2 plus 2 is 4, and then again another 2, so 6. So I do have everything I need. My final step is to add them up. 20 times 2 plus 30 times 2 plus 150 times 2. 20 times 2 is 40, plus 30 times 2 is 60, plus 150 times 2 is just 300. 40 times 60 is 100, plus 300 is 400. So it would be 400 inches squared would be the total surface area of my figure.